Going back to some of the formats that you're looking at, and there's something that you mentioned in the book where you talk about music and emotional violence, and you talk about so if you can just sort of take us through the idea of like how does music help, say, make violence seem more acceptable.
I think there's been substantial experience that we've had as a society, not just in India but abroad, of looking at what popular culture and especially music, as you said, does to the human psyche, right? And yet, I don't think we've seemed to understand or comprehend it fully. We're not able to grasp the power of music, but just look at the past, look at the recent past also. Look at the Rwandan genocide of 1994. One of the people who were convicted for the genocide was a guy who was a very popular singer in Rwanda. He was known as Michael Jackson, the Michael Jackson of Rwanda in those times. And one of the things that he did was that he was constantly creating songs which were songs of Hutu supremacy against the Tutsis, right? Songs that spoke about how what was needed is to exterminate all of the Tutsis, is to basically for Hutus to survive is to be engaging in mindless violence against the Tutsis. So when the commission sat and sort of looked at war crimes, he was convicted of incitement of violence because it was found and it was investigated that the songs that were continuously played on the radio
played like an active role.
Played a very active role in fomenting hate and sort of driving people towards violence. We saw something similar happen not very far away from India in Myanmar.
I think I just wanted the follow-up question.
Yeah.
We definitely...
with the Rohingya Muslims and honestly, the rhetoric that we saw in Myanmar is very similar to the rhetoric that we see here.
Can you give us an example?
So some of the songs carried the rhetoric that you can be a Myanmaris only if you're a Buddhist. Right? To be a Buddhist is to be a Myanmaris and to be a Myanmaris is to be a Buddhist. Very similar to what we're seeing here, where if you're a Hindu, you're an Indian. If you're not a Hindu, you're an outsider. What did the rhetoric in Myanmar do? The rhetoric in Myanmar drove Buddhists to take up weapons against the Muslims and to drive them out to commit a genocide, the effects of which we're still living through right now. So there are enough instances of how popular culture has played a very, very crucial role in dividing us as communities, in fomenting hate, and in driving people to violence. And yet we are not able to see how that can happen in a country like ours, where we're already so driven, between castes, between communities, between religions. So this is why it's important to understand the role of popular culture and role of music in today's India. Because polarization anyway is an ongoing process which doesn't automatically, it's not going to give you a result in the immediate, but it will show its effects in the medium to long term. And we shouldn't be waiting for that time to come when the effects are fully visible.